can't be defeated when you understand how power actually works. Most men fail not because they lack talent or work ethic, but because they're operating with the wrong mental framework. They're playing checkers while everyone else is playing chess. Picture this scene. A man sits alone in his apartment at 2 a.m. staring at his phone. He just got passed over for a promotion. Again, the guy who got it, less qualified, less dedicated, but somehow, always in the right place at the right time. I don't get it, he thinks. I do everything right. That's the problem. He does everything right, according to rules that don't actually exist. Today, I'm breaking down 6 brutal truths from Machiavelli that will completely shift how you see the world. These aren't theories. They're observations about human nature that have been proven accurate for over 500 years. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some men rise effortlessly while others grind endlessly and get nowhere. But before we dive in, drop this in the comments right now. I play to win. Let's get into it. The niceness trap. Here's what nobody tells you. Being the good guy is often a losing strategy. I know that sounds harsh. Society has fed you a comfortable lie your entire life, that if you work hard, stay humble, and treat everyone fairly, success will naturally follow. Your parents told you this. Your teachers reinforced it. Every Disney movie hammered it home. It's complete fiction. Look around your workplace right now. Who got the last promotion? Was it the person who worked the hardest? Or was it the person who managed perceptions, built strategic relationships, and knew exactly when to make their move? The uncomfortable truth is that the world operates on power dynamics, not fairness. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago when he wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." Translation? People respond to what they perceive, not what's actually true. You can be the most competent person in the room, but if nobody perceives you that way, your competence is irrelevant. You can work 80 hours a week, but if your boss doesn't see it, or if you're easy to overlook, those hours vanish into nothing. Why nice guys finish last? The nice guy makes 3 critical mistakes. First, he's completely predictable. Everyone knows exactly how he'll react to any situation. He'll say yes when asked for help. He'll stay late when needed. He'll absorb extra work without complaint. This predictability makes him useful, but not valuable. Valuable people have options and boundaries. Useful people are just tools that get used until they break. Second, he operates without strategic thinking. He believes that good intentions and hard work are enough. He doesn't consider timing, positioning, or perception. He doesn't think about who holds power or how decisions actually get made. He just puts his head down and grinds, hoping someone notices. Third, he confuses respect with likability. He wants everyone to like him, so he avoids conflict, never pushes back, and constantly accommodates. But likability without respect is worthless. People will like you and still walk all over you. They'll like you and still take credit for your work. They'll like you and still pass you over when it matters. Machiavelli observed, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." Now, before you misunderstand, this doesn't mean being a tyrant or a jerk. It means understanding that respect, a form of healthy fear, is more valuable than affection. When people respect you, they consider your interests. When they merely like you, they consider their own interests and assume you'll be fine with it because you're nice. The real rules. The world has unwritten rules that actually govern success. Perception matters more than reality. How people see you determines your opportunities. Strategic positioning beats hard work alone. Being in the right place with the right people opens doors that grinding never will. Boundaries create respect. People value what they can't take for granted. Power attracts power. Once you're perceived as valuable, opportunities multiply. Most men never learn these rules because they're too uncomfortable. They'd rather believe in the fairness myth because it's comforting. But comfort is the enemy of growth. The man who understands these dynamics doesn't get bitter or cynical. He simply adjusts his strategy. He continues being capable and competent, but now he's also strategic and intentional. He doesn't just work hard, he works smart. He doesn't just produce results, he ensures those results are visible to the right people. This is what separates men who achieve their potential from men who stay stuck wondering why life isn't fair. Drop this in the comments. I see the real game now. The power of social intelligence. Most men lose because they can't read people. They take words at face value. They trust surface-level interactions. They assume everyone operates with the same values they do. This is like playing poker while showing your cards to everyone at the table. Machiavelli understood that human nature follows patterns. He wrote, "Whoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." The key word there is change, because people are dynamic, situational, and driven by self-interest. Everyone has an agenda. Here's a truth that will save you years of disappointment. Everyone you meet has their own agenda. This isn't cynicism, it's observation. Your boss isn't just thinking about the company's success. He's thinking about his career, his reputation, his next move. Your colleague who seems friendly isn't just being nice. She's also building her network, securing her position, managing her image. Even people who genuinely care about you still have their own priorities, fears, and limitations. When push comes to shove, most people will choose self-preservation over loyalty. Not because they're bad people, but because they're human. Understanding this changes everything. When you recognize that everyone operates from self-interest, you stop taking things personally. That colleague who took credit for your idea, he wasn't attacking you. He was advancing himself, and you were convenient collateral damage. That friend who flaked on you, she wasn't rejecting you. She simply had something more important to her come up. This understanding gives you power because you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. The 3 types of people. In any environment, you'll encounter 3 types of people. Type 1, the transactional. These people operate on clear exchanges. I'll help you if you help me. They're straightforward and predictable. With them, maintain clear boundaries and fair exchanges. Don't overgive, because they won't appreciate it. They'll just see you as desperate or foolish. Type 2, the political. These people care deeply about hierarchy, status, and perception. They need to feel important. They respond to respect, recognition, and strategic deference. With them, manage their ego carefully. Let them feel like the decision-maker even when you're steering the outcome. Never threaten their status publicly. Type 3, the genuine. These rare individuals actually operate with integrity and consistent values. They're worth investing in because they're reliable long-term allies. But even with them, maintain some boundaries. Everyone has a breaking point where self-interest takes over. Reading the signals. Effective. People don't just listen to words, they watch behavior patterns. Notice what people do when there's no benefit to them. This reveals their true character. Pay attention to who they spend time with. People align with those who serve their interests. Watch how they treat people below them in status. This shows their real values. Observe what they do under pressure. Stress reveals authenticity. Track consistency between words and actions. Gaps indicate deception or self-deception. Machiavelli noted, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Translation: people will break commitments when it serves them, then justify it with current circumstances. Expect this. Plan for it. Don't be shocked when it happens. The strategic response. Once you understand human nature, you have options. Option 1, protect yourself. Don't share sensitive information with people who might use it against you. Don't make yourself vulnerable to those who haven't earned trust. Don't assume loyalty where none has been proven. Option 2, use leverage. When you understand what motivates someone, you can position yourself as valuable to their agenda. This creates mutually beneficial relationships where both parties have incentive to cooperate. Option 3, choose carefully. Not everyone deserves your energy, time, or trust. Be selective. Invest deeply in the few people who've proven themselves reliable and maintain surface-level relationships with everyone else. This isn't about being cold or manipulative. It's about being realistic. The man who understands human nature isn't surprised when people act in self-interest. He's prepared for it. He's positioned for it. And he navigates social dynamics with the clarity that creates consistent success. Drop this in the comments. I understand the game. Your emotions are information leaks. Every time you react emotionally without thinking, you give away power. You show people your pressure points. You reveal what bothers you, what threatens you, what controls you. Think about the last time someone criticized you or challenged your decision. How did you respond? Did you get defensive? Did you feel the need to justify yourself immediately? Did your voice change? Did you feel heat rising in your chest? Those reactions communicate weakness. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel emotions. I'm saying you shouldn't let emotions control your responses. There's a massive difference. The pause principle Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Here's what that means in practice. The fool reacts immediately and emotionally, then later realizes he handled it wrong. The wise man pauses, considers, and responds intentionally, getting it right the first time. The most powerful thing you can do in any tense moment is this: pause. When someone challenges you, pause. When something triggers frustration, pause. When you feel defensive, pause. When opportunity or pressure demands quick action, pause. Even a 3-second pause changes everything. In that brief moment, you shift from reactive to strategic. You move from being controlled by circumstance to being in control of your response. The 4 levels of emotional control. Level 1. Unconscious reaction. Most men operate here. They react without thinking. Someone questions them, they defend. Someone criticizes them, they attack back. Someone triggers insecurity, they spiral. They're controlled by their emotions like puppets on strings. Level 2. Aware but powerless. These men notice their emotional reactions but can't stop them. I know I shouldn't have blown up, but they have awareness without control. Slightly better, but still losing. Level 3. Controlled response. These men feel the emotion but choose their response. They get angry but don't show it. They feel defensive but pause before speaking. They have impulses but don't act on them automatically. This is where power begins. Level 4. Strategic emotion. These men not only control their reactions, they use emotions deliberately. They show vulnerability when it builds trust. They display confidence when it establishes authority. They reveal frustration when it communicates boundaries. They're not emotionless. They're emotionally strategic. This is the level Machiavelli operated at. This is the level that creates lasting influence. Practical application. Starting today, practice this framework. When criticized, don't defend immediately. Ask a clarifying question instead. Can you give me a specific example? This shifts the dynamic from defense to information gathering. It shows you're not threatened. It puts them in the position of explaining rather than you justifying. When challenged, don't react with your first impulse. Take a visible breath, count to 3 in your head, then respond with measured words. This visible control communicates more power than any aggressive comeback ever could. When disrespected, don't explode or shrink. Simply withdraw your energy from that person, no explanation needed. Your absence becomes the message. When people realize access to you isn't guaranteed, respect follows. When praised, don't downplay it or get overly excited. Simply acknowledge it with confidence. I appreciate that. I worked hard on it. Then move on. Don't make it awkward by either rejecting the compliment or fishing for more. The compound effect. Here's what most men don't realize. Every interaction is being evaluated. People are constantly assessing whether you're high value or low value based on how you handle yourself. One defensive outburst can cost you months of reputation building. One moment of losing your composure can make people question your leadership ability. One emotional reaction can reveal insecurities you've tried to hide. But consistent emotional control, that builds a reputation as someone who can handle pressure, someone who doesn't crack under stress, someone who's ready for greater responsibility and power. Machiavelli observed, Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Master the appearance of unshakable composure, and people will treat you as though you actually are unshakable. Eventually, by consistently acting this way, you become what you project. Drop this in the comments. I control my reactions. Why kindness alone fails. Let me be direct. Being kind doesn't make people respect you. Being valuable does. The man who's always available, always helpful, always accommodating thinks he's building goodwill. What he's actually doing is training people to take him for granted. When you're always there, you're never missed. When you always say yes, your yes means nothing. When you never push back, people stop considering your needs. Machiavelli wrote, "Benefits should be conferred gradually, and in that way, they will taste better." Translation: constant availability and help become expected rather than appreciated. But strategic, occasional assistance, given when it truly matters, becomes valuable and memorable. The respect formula. Respect comes from a specific combination. Respect, chance, capability, plus boundaries, plus consistency. Let's break that down. Capability means you're actually good at something. You deliver results, you solve problems, you bring value that others recognize. Without this foundation, nothing else matters. You can't command respect based on personality alone. You need substance. Boundaries mean people can't access you, your time, or your energy without limit. You say no to things that don't serve you. You walk away from disrespect. You make it clear that your resources are valuable and limited. This creates scarcity, and humans value what's scarce. Consistency means you reliably enforce your boundaries and deliver on your capabilities. You don't have boundaries one day and cave the next. You don't perform well sometimes and slack off others. People learn they can depend on your patterns, which builds trust and respect simultaneously. Most men have one or two of these, but not all three. The highly capable guy with no boundaries gets used by everyone. The guy with strong boundaries but no capability gets dismissed as arrogant. The inconsistent guy never builds lasting respect, regardless of his other qualities. You need all three. Setting boundaries that build respect. Boundaries aren't about being difficult or aggressive. They're about clarity. Here's how to implement them effectively. Time boundaries. Stop being available 24/7. Don't respond to messages immediately, every time. It trains people to expect instant responses. Create specific times when you're unavailable for work communications. Value your personal time audibly. I don't schedule meetings before 9 a.m. Or, I keep my evenings clear for my priorities. Energy boundaries. Stop saying yes to every request. Practice this phrase: let me check my schedule and get back to you. This creates a pause where you can evaluate whether the request serves you. When you do say no, don't over-explain. "That doesn't work for me," is a complete sentence. Respect boundaries. The first time someone disrespects you, address it directly and calmly. "I don't appreciate that tone. Let's keep this professional." If it continues, withdraw your cooperation or presence. No arguments, no drama, just consequences. People learn quickly that disrespecting you comes with a cost. Reciprocity boundaries. Stop helping people who never reciprocate. Track the balance in your relationships. If someone constantly takes but never gives, reduce your investment in that relationship. Your time and energy should flow toward people who value and reciprocate it. The fear factor. Machiavelli's most controversial statement was about fear versus love. He argued that fear is more reliable than affection in maintaining authority. Before you misinterpret this, understand what he meant. He wasn't talking about terror or abuse. He was talking about consequences. When people know there are real consequences for crossing you, they respect your boundaries. When they know you'll always forgive, always accommodate, always give another chance, they exploit it. Think about the people in your life who command respect. They're not necessarily the nicest people. They're the ones who have clear standards and enforce them consistently. They're the ones who will walk away from situations that don't serve them. They're the ones who make you consider their interests because you know they won't hesitate to protect them. That's not being mean. That's being respected. The balance now. Boundaries without warmth make you isolated and cold. The goal isn't to be feared in the sense of being threatening. The goal is to be respected, which means people value your boundaries because they value your presence. The most influential men balance two qualities. They're warm with those who respect them. They're generous with their time, attention, and help for people who've proven themselves worthy. This creates loyalty and genuine connection. They're immovable with those who don't. They don't waste energy on people who demonstrate disrespect, disloyalty, or exploitation. This creates a filter that naturally selects for higher quality relationships. This combination, generous with the deserving, unavailable to the exploitative, creates a reputation as both valuable and selective. People want access to you because you're both helpful and exclusive. Drop this in the comments. I am worth respect. The desperation detector. People can smell desperation from a mile away, and the moment they detect it, your value plummets. When you need something too badly, a job, a relationship, approval, a sale, people sense it, and that neediness changes how they treat you. They become less interested, more demanding, less respectful of your time. Why? Because desperation communicates low value. It says, I don't have options. I need this to work. Please, choose me. The opposite of desperation is outcome independence, and it's one of the most powerful mindsets you can develop. What outcome independence actually means. Outcome independence doesn't mean not caring about results. It means not being emotionally dependent on specific outcomes. It means you want the job, but you don't need this particular job to feel valuable. You're interested in the relationship, but your self-worth isn't tied to this person choosing you. You prefer the deal to go through, but you're equally fine walking away. You hope for success, but you're prepared for any result. Machiavelli wrote, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great." Translation: when you're willing to walk away, the pressure disappears. When the pressure disappears, you perform better. When you perform better, you usually get the outcome anyway. It's a paradox. Caring less about specific outcomes often helps you achieve them. The scarcity trap. Most men operate from scarcity. This is my only shot at this opportunity. I can't afford to lose this person. I have to make this work. I need them to say yes. This scarcity mindset creates anxiety. Anxiety creates desperate behavior. Desperate behavior repels the very outcomes you want. The abundant mindset thinks differently. This is one of many opportunities available to me. I want this to work, but I'll be fine either way. If they're not interested, someone else will be. I prefer yes, but I respect no. Notice these aren't lies or false confidence. They're frameworks that reduce emotional pressure and allow you to show up as your best self. Building real abundance. You can't fake outcome independence. You can't pretend not to care when you're internally desperate. People read the disconnect. Real outcome independence comes from real abundance. Here's how to build it. Multiple options. Never have just one job prospect, one business client, one social circle, one romantic possibility. Always be building multiple pathways. When you have genuine options, you naturally stop being desperate about any single one. This isn't manipulation. It's smart life design. Internal validation. Stop needing external approval to feel good about yourself. Build skills. Achieve goals. Create things you're proud of. When your self-worth comes from internal sources, external validation becomes nice, but not necessary. Financial cushion money creates options. Even a small emergency fund transforms how you handle workplace dynamics. When you can survive 6 months without a paycheck, you can't be easily controlled or exploited. You can set boundaries, push back, and walk away if necessary. Social abundance. Cultivate multiple friendships and relationships. When all your social needs are met by one person or group, losing them becomes devastating. When you have a diverse, healthy social network, any single relationship becomes less critical. Self-sufficiency. Learn to be happy alone. Develop hobbies, interests, and routines that fulfill you independently of others. The man who enjoys his own company can never be lonely. The man who's comfortable with solitude can't be manipulated through isolation. The walking away muscle. The most powerful ability you can develop is the ability to walk away from bad jobs, from toxic relationships, from disrespectful situations, from deals that don't serve you. But most men can't walk away because they haven't built the alternatives that make walking away possible. Start practicing. Walk away from the friend who consistently disrespects your time. Walk away from the negotiation when the terms aren't right. Walk away from the conversation when someone crosses your boundaries. Walk away from the environment that doesn't value you. Each time you walk away, the next time becomes easier. You build the walking away muscle. And once people realize you can and will walk away, their entire approach to you changes. Machiavelli noted, "Never was anything great achieved without danger." Walking away feels dangerous because it means giving up something known for something uncertain. But staying in situations that don't serve you is actually more dangerous. It's just slower and less obvious. The magnetism of outcome independence. Here's what happens when you truly develop outcome independence. You become more attractive. People are drawn to those who don't need them. It's counterintuitive, but true. Your lack of desperation signals high value. You perform better. Without the pressure of needing a specific outcome, you're more relaxed, confident, and effective. This usually leads to better results. You make better decisions. Fear-based decisions, made from desperation, usually lead to poor outcomes. Opportunity-based decisions, made from abundance, usually lead to better ones. You attract quality. When you're selective and not desperate, you naturally filter out low-quality people and opportunities. You create space for better options to arrive. Drop this in the comments. I am complete without needing anything. Your reputation is your currency. In the modern world, reputation is the most valuable asset you can build. It's more valuable than money because it creates money. It's more valuable than skills because it multiplies the impact of your skills. Your reputation opens doors that resumes can't. It creates opportunities that networking alone won't. It builds trust that allows you to operate on a different level than others. But here's the catch. Reputation is built slowly and destroyed quickly. One significant mistake, one viral moment of poor judgment, one public failure can undo years of careful reputation building. That's why Machiavelli was obsessed with appearances. He understood that perception is reality in human society. The 3 pillars of an untouchable reputation. Pillar 1. Consistency. Nothing builds reputation faster than being reliably excellent. When people know they can count on you to deliver, to show up, to keep your word, your reputation solidifies. Consistency means, if you commit to something, you do it. If you say you'll be somewhere, you're there. If you promise a deadline, you meet it. If you set a standard, you uphold it. Most men are inconsistent. They work hard when motivated, slack when not. They keep commitments when convenient, break them when it's easier. They enforce boundaries sometimes, cave other times. This inconsistency prevents them from building a strong reputation. People can't figure out what they truly stand for. The man with an untouchable reputation is boringly consistent. People know exactly what to expect from him. This predictability and quality creates trust, and trust creates opportunity. Pillar 2. Competence. Reputation without substance is just marketing, and eventually it collapses. You must actually be good at something valuable. Competence means you have skills that solve real problems. You deliver measurable results. You understand your field deeply. You continue improving rather than resting on past success. Here's the hard truth. If you're not genuinely competent, all the other strategies in this video won't matter. You can't fake expertise long term. You can't pretend your way to respect. Eventually, people will test you, and if you can't deliver, your reputation crashes. Invest relentlessly in developing real capabilities. Read, practice, learn from mistakes, seek feedback, get better at what you do. Pillar 3. Character. This is the most overlooked element of reputation, especially in today's cynical world. But character matters more than most men realize. Character means you treat people fairly even when you don't have to. You keep confidences and don't gossip. You give credit where it's due. You're honest even when lying would be easier. You do the right thing even when nobody's watching. Why does this matter for power and influence? Because character creates loyalty. People who trust your character will advocate for you, recommend you, and defend you when you're not in the room. The man with competence but no character gets short-term wins but long-term isolation. Eventually, people realize he can't be trusted, and his network collapses. The man with all three pillars, consistency, competence, and character, builds a reputation that becomes self-reinforcing. His past performance guarantees future opportunities. The visibility strategy. Having a great reputation doesn't help if nobody knows about it. You must make your value visible to the people who matter. This isn't about arrogance or bragging. It's about strategic communication. Document your wins. Keep track of your successes, projects, and contributions. When appropriate, share them in contexts where they're relevant. I led a similar project last year that increased revenue by 30%. Isn't bragging. It's providing relevant information. Cultivate advocates. Build relationships with people who will speak positively about you when you're not present. These advocates are worth more than any self-promotion because third-party validation is more credible than self-reported success. Control your narrative. How do you introduce yourself? What do people say about you when you leave the room? Shape these narratives intentionally by being clear about your values, goals, and standards. Be strategically visible. Put yourself in situations where influential people see your work. Volunteer for high-visibility projects. Attend industry events. Contribute to discussions where decision-makers are present. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." Translation? People are lazy in their judgments. They accept surface-level narratives. If you don't control your narrative, someone else will, and it might not be accurate. Protecting your reputation. Building a strong reputation takes years. Protecting it requires constant vigilance. Avoid public conflicts. When you argue publicly, even if you're right, you damage your reputation. Handle conflicts privately and professionally. Public drama makes you look unstable regardless of who's at fault. Choose associations carefully. You're judged by the company you keep. If you regularly associate with unreliable or unethical people, their reputation stains yours. Be selective about who you align with publicly. Own your mistakes quickly. When you mess up, and you will, acknowledge it immediately and take responsibility. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. People respect those who own their failures and fix them. Don't overpromise. It's better to underpromise and overdeliver than the reverse. When you constantly fail to meet expectations you set, your reputation suffers even if the actual result isn't bad. Maintain privacy about personal struggles. This seems harsh, but it's practical. Don't broadcast your problems, doubts, or failures widely. Share vulnerabilities selectively with trusted confidants. Most people will use your weaknesses against you, consciously or unconsciously. The compound effect of reputation. Here's the beautiful part. Once you've built a strong reputation, everything becomes easier. Opportunities come to you instead of you chasing them. People give you the benefit of the doubt instead of questioning you. Your recommendations carry weight instead of being ignored. You can command premium rates instead of competing on price. Mistakes are forgiven as anomalies instead of defining you. Your reputation precedes you into every room. It sets the frame for every interaction. It determines what people assume about you before you even speak. This is why men who understand power invest heavily in their reputation early. They know it's the asset that keeps paying dividends for decades. Machiavelli understood this completely. Despite writing a controversial book about power, his reputation as a brilliant political thinker has lasted 500 years. That's the power of building something substantial. Drop this in the comments. My reputation is untouchable. Knowledge isn't power. Application is you now have the framework that has helped men gain and maintain power for centuries. You understand human nature. You know how to manage your emotions. You've learned to build boundaries. You see the value of outcome independence. You know how to build an unshakable reputation. But here's the brutal truth. None of this matters if you don't apply it. Most men will watch this video, feel motivated for a few hours, then return to their old patterns. They'll still react emotionally. They'll still say yes to everything. They'll still be desperate for approval. They'll still neglect their reputation. Why? Because knowledge is comfortable and action is uncomfortable. It's easy to understand that you should set boundaries. It's hard to actually say no to your boss or friend. It's easy to agree that outcome independence is powerful. It's hard to walk away from a situation you've invested time in. It's easy to intellectually grasp that consistency builds reputation. It's hard to show up and deliver every single day. The decision point right now, you're at a decision point. You can close this video and go back to how things were. Or you can commit to implementing one principle at a time. You don't have to transform overnight. You don't have to become a completely different person tomorrow. But you do have to start. This week, practice the pause principle. Before reacting to any challenge or criticism, count to 3. Just that one change will shift dozens of interactions. This month, establish one clear boundary that you've been avoiding. Say no to something that doesn't serve you. Walk away from one situation that's been draining you. This quarter, begin building real outcome independence. Create a financial cushion. Develop a new skill. Expand your social network. Build actual options in your life. This year, focus on consistency. Do what you commit to. Show up when you say you will. Build the reputation of someone reliable and capable. Machiavelli wrote, "Entrepreneurs are simply those who understand that there is little difference between obstacle and opportunity and are able to turn both to their advantage." The same challenges you face now, difficult people, limited opportunities, competitive environments, are the same challenges every successful man has faced. The difference is how they responded to them. The uncomfortable reality. Let me be clear about something. Implementing these principles will cost you some relationships. When you start setting boundaries, some people will get upset. When you stop being constantly available, some people will call you selfish. When you demand respect, some people will resent it. Let them go. The people who truly value you will adjust. They'll respect your boundaries. They'll appreciate your consistency. They'll recognize your growth. The people who don't, they were using you anyway. They valued the old, accommodating, people-pleasing version of you because it served them. They don't want you to grow because your growth threatens their ability to exploit you. Losing these people isn't a cost, it's a benefit. You're clearing space for better relationships with people who respect the man you're becoming. Your next move. Success leaves clues. The men who dominate their fields, business, politics, social dynamics, all understand these principles. They might not call them Machiavellian, but they operate by them nonetheless. They see social dynamics clearly. They control their reactions strategically. They maintain boundaries that command respect. They operate with outcome independence. They build reputations that precede them. These aren't secrets. They're observations about how power actually works. And now you have them. The question isn't whether these principles work. 500 years of evidence proves they do. The question is whether you have the courage to apply them. Will you continue being predictable, reactive, and accommodating? Or will you become strategic, composed, and selectively generous? Will you keep